Hello and welcome to the 2020 election between Donald Trump and Kirsten Gillibrand. Kirsten Gillibrand is one of the senators of New York, with also Chuck Schumer being one of them. She recently announced she will be running for president of the United States as a Democratic candidate, and I would say she's she's probably tied with Elizabeth Warren as the top currently announced candidates. Before I start this video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications by hitting that bell button next to the subscribe. Our goal for the end of the month has been bumped up to 35 now. We beat the 32 and the 30, so we're up 6 subscribers so far on the goal, and we're going to bump it up to 5 more. We're going to start off with the safe Republican states. Let me turn that to safe and toss-up. Utah, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, South Carolina, and the state of Alaska, except that 2nd congressional seat. And for Gillibrand, I could see California, Washington, Illinois, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, District of Columbia, Maryland, New York, her home state, Vermont, the 1st congressional district in Maine, and the state of Hawaii. So this brings Gillibrand to 152 and Donald Trump to 125. We're going to move into the safe, likely, leaning, and toss-up. We're going to start with the for sure toss-up, likelies. These are very strong Democratic states. They slightly more vote Republican out of their solid states. Just a little bit under 15%, between 10 and 15%. If there was another shader, that would be very useful. And then Texas for Donald Trump. I could also see the state of New Mexico. I forgot to clarify that. And the state of Colorado. I think it's going to be in between a lean and a likely for the 2016 election. It really depends on the candidate. Gillibrand is pretty, I would say, middle between all the different types of Democratic voters. So I think she could do well and in some parts and not do well in others, even though she's pretty much more in the middle. According to 538, there was a bunch of stuff that was released. I'll have to go over that in a video. I could also see the state of Ohio going likely, and Iowa. She in the Iowa caucus isn't even ranked on there. Bloomberg is technically beating her. Cory Booker's beating her. Gillibrand, I can't see doing too well in the state of Iowa, and I think with Trump having a pretty middle approval rating in Ohio, even though there's a government shutdown currently going on, I could see him doing very well there if he's having pretty even approval ratings there. Slightly more negative, according to Morning Consultant. But approval ratings don't mean everything, and it's hard to actually know what they are correctly because there's a lot of those city, urban, and it's just a mix of voters there. It really depends on the turnout and who's the candidate. In the 2nd congressional district, I could see that going leaning. And same with the Nebraska 2nd congressional district, but Maine 2nd congressional will go to Kirsten Gillibrand. And the states of Arizona and Georgia will go leaning. I could see Georgia possibly going into the likely, but with the current approval ratings at this time, I can't see it in the likely, but I could see it close. Same with the state of North Carolina. I could see it very close. I can't really see her appealing to these types of voters anyways. And same with the state of Florida. But in the state of Nevada, I could see her easily winning, and in the state of Minnesota, I forgot to clarify, Virginia would be definitely in the likely column. And I could also see her winning New Hampshire. All these states in the, I would say, Northeast, I'm going to actually consider Virginia as well. She's going to appeal very well, and I think these three could possibly go into the likely column. And I think she would also appeal with, kind of appeal with these voters in Colorado and New Mexico. She is, I don't know how we explain her really. She's, I would say, centrist, kind of. But in the state of Michigan, I could see her winning it. Trump only won there about 12,000 votes, and with the turnout in the midterm elections, there was 400,000 votes that went to the Democrats, more than the Republicans in the House election. Usually it's based more on approval ratings at the time, and it's also tied as the least approved state for Trump that he won out of these three. It's Michigan and Wisconsin are tied, and at a little over 10%, and Pennsylvania at, I think, 6% in the negative. In the state of Pennsylvania, I can see her edging this out with the northeastern appeal. Even though Trump did I think he did pretty well there, and Republicans did pretty averagely there, even though they lost a couple of House seats and did not win the Senate or governor race. It comes down to the state of Wisconsin now, and I could really see this going either way. Trump has low approval ratings there, but there was more Republican turnout there in the House election than Democrats. There was 50,000 more votes to the Republicans. This is a really tricky choice. I could see this really edging out for Trump. I don't think she could really get enough African American vote out there to win the state. I think it'll be very, very close, and I think Trump could edge it out. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and turn on the notifications to get my new videos when they just come out, so you know. And bye.